What's up, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter? It's your boy Trey Larkins with the Wise Guys Sports Show. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at Wise Guys _H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. It's Friday, June the 13th, in the house with your boy Trey Larkins. I want to come on here and discuss the NBA Finals. But before that, everybody, don't forget, each and every Monday, the We Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Melvin Levitt at Park Place. That's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The We Not Boxed In podcast. The We Not Boxed In podcast each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Park Place. We Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Melvin Levitt, discussing the latest in sports, and my boy Dante Payne with On Impact Recruiting Services behind the scenes each and every Monday. That's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Park Place, the We Not Boxed In podcast. Me and Melvin Levitt. So any topics that you want to discuss, you can come up to Park Place. It's a live studio audience, so you can ask any questions to myself or Melvin. We can talk about whatever you want to discuss on the We Not Boxed In podcast each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And they also have 65-cent wing night as well on Monday. So come up to Park Place and check us out. But I wanted to talk about the NBA Finals before we head into Game 4 tonight in Indianapolis. Obviously, the Pacers beat the Thunder in Game 3, 116 to 107. Benedict Mathurin was balling. He had 27 points, shot 9 of 12 from the floor, 4 rebounds. Tyrese Haliburton, he had 22 points, shot 9 of 17 from the floor. I believe he had 11 assists, shot 4 from 8 from three-point range. And for the Thunder, SGA, he finished with 24 points, shot 9 of 20 from the floor. So, as we head into Game 4 tonight, looking back on Game 3, I thought the biggest difference in Game 3 was the bench points. The Pacers bench outscored the Thunder bench 49 to 18. So they were essentially a plus 31 in bench points. That's the Indiana Pacers over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And to me, that honestly was the biggest difference in the game. Benedict Mathurin was balling. This brother had 27 points, shot 9 of 12 from the floor. He is a scoring machine off the bench for the Indiana Pacers. Honestly, I watched Game 3, and there were moments where I was thinking Benedict Mathurin might be the second or third best scorer on the Pacers. Because I think Mathurin, honestly, he may even be a better scorer than Tyrese Haliburton. He hasn't developed yet. He's still young, but Mathurin was balling in Game 3. But he wasn't alone. Mathurin had 27 points. TJ McConnell had 10 points. Obi Toppin had 8 points for the Pacers off the bench. I thought it seemed like there were multiple times where the Pacers scored points and TJ McConnell stole a Thunder inbound pass. I think that happened like 2 or 3 times in the game. So to me, the biggest reason why the Pacers beat the Thunder in Game 3 was because the Pacers bench outperformed the Thunder's bench. And all season long, we talked about how the Thunder's bench was arguably the best bench in the NBA. Before the finals, their starting 5 was Hartenstein, Holmgren, SGA, Jalen Williams, and Lou Dort. But Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault, before the finals, decided to insert Cason Wallace into their starting lineup, and he put Hartenstein on the bench. So now on the Thunder bench, they got Hartenstein, they got Isaiah Joe, They have Alex Caruso, but they were thoroughly outplayed in game 3. TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, Obi Toppin, they all outplayed the Thunder bench that consists of Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hardenstein, Isaiah Joe as well, Aaron Wiggins. Remember, Aaron Wiggins was balling in game 2. In game 2, Aaron Wiggins, I believe he hit multiple three-point shots. So I thought in game 3, the Pacers bench significantly outplayed the Thunder's bench, and that was the biggest difference in the game. Also, Tyrese Haliburton, he came out aggressive out the gate for the Indiana Pacers. And I said that prior to game 3. I said Haliburton has to start coming out and being more aggressive if the Indiana Pacers want to have a chance to win this series. In game 2, going into the fourth quarter, Tyrese Haliburton only had 5 points. He finished the game with 17 points, so he had 12 points in the fourth quarter. But in game 3, Haliburton came out the gate and was aggressive from the start of the game. And I feel like that's what needs to happen if the Pacers want to beat the Thunder. Haliburton can't just be a passing point guard. He got to be a scoring point guard as well if the Indiana Pacers want to upset the OKC Thunder in the NBA Finals. He cannot just be a pass-first point guard. Haliburton has to be a scorer and has to be aggressive from an offensive standpoint. And I thought he did just that in game 3. I believe in game 3, Haliburton had like 12, 13 points at halftime for the Pacers. So he has to come out and be aggressive. Also, I thought in game 3, I thought the OKC Thunder outplayed the Indiana Pacers in quarters 1 and quarters 3. But in quarters 2 and 4, the Indiana Pacers outplayed the OKC Thunder. In the second and fourth quarter, the Pacers outscored the Thunder 72-46. 72-46. The Pacers outscored the Thunder. So I thought the second and fourth quarter, the Pacers significantly outplayed the Thunder. And the Pacers, I believe, in the clutch in these NBA Finals, the Pacers have outplayed the Thunder. So that's the thing about OKC. Like, as great as OKC has been all season long, they haven't really been tested yet. They got tested in the conference semifinals against the Nuggets. But for the most part, the Thunder have not really been tested yet. They're about to get tested tonight in game 4 in Indianapolis. Naptown is going crazy today. It's a Friday. It's the weekend. They are going crazy up there in Indianapolis tonight. Make no mistake about it. This is a huge, huge test for OKC. We're about to find out what OKC is really made of, because tonight, in a hostile environment, they will be tested. Also, big shout out to Myles Turner. Myles Turner only had 9 points. I believe he shot 3 of 11 from the floor. So he didn't have a great game offensively, but he did a tremendous job defensively against Chet Holmgren in the final 3 quarters. In the first quarter, Chet Holmgren had 13 points. The rest of the game, he only had 7 points. So Myles Turner did a tremendous job from a defensive standpoint containing Chet Holmgren after his hot start. So even though Myles Turner, he's not shooting the ball well at the moment, he's doing the little things and playing great defense against Chet Holmgren, and that's a winning formula if you are Rick Carlisle in the Indiana Pacers. So big shout out to Myles Turner. He hasn't shot the ball well, but I thought his defense on Chet Holmgren in the final 3 quarters was tremendous. And the thing is about OKC, they need their bench. They need their bench to contribute. Also, I do wonder if Mark Daytonall deciding to start Cason Wallace over Isaiah Hardenstein, sometimes I wonder if that has had an impact on the OKC Thunder, because you were the best team in the NBA throughout the regular season. They were the best team in the Western Conference throughout the playoffs. And so prior to the NBA Finals, you decide to start Cason Wallace and bench Isaiah Hartenstein. I didn't understand why Mark Daigneault decided to make that lineup change. It made no sense to me. Like, you had the best overall record in the NBA in the regular season. You won the Western Conference Finals over the Timberwolves in 5 games. So you were clearly the best team, not only in the West, but in the entire NBA. So I didn't understand why Mark Daigneault decided to start Cason Wallace over Isaiah Hartenstein, because that big lineup that the Thunder have with Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, that's caused trouble for opposing teams. So sometimes I think these coaches overthink things and they do too much. And I believe Mark Daigneault changing up his starting lineup could have an impact on the team. And I believe it's been a negative impact in these first 3 games. It has not been a positive impact, because right now the Thunder are down 2-1. And I have to be honest, coming into the NBA Finals, I felt as if the Thunder were a significantly better team than the Pacers. And after watching these first 3 games, especially after watching game 3, because I thought game 3, the Pacers played great start to finish. And I said a few days ago that, because the first 2 games in OKC, I thought OKC outplayed Indiana. I thought Indiana lucked up winning game 1. But after watching 96 minutes of game 1 and game 2 in the NBA Finals, I was of the belief I can't find a single advantage that the Pacers have over the Thunder. But after watching game 3, if the Pacers continue to play at that pace and they continue to play that type of basketball, the Pacers can upset the Thunder in these NBA Finals. Because the thing is, the Pacers were pushing the pace, they were pushing the tempo, and I felt like that was the first time all season long where the Thunder were on their heels. The Thunder were on their heels. The Thunder had 19 turnovers, which is another thing. Myself included, we don't give the Pacers credit from a defensive standpoint enough. We don't give the Pacers credit for their ability to play elite defense. We always talk about how elite the Thunder defense is. The Pacers played some great defense in game 3 against the Thunder. I thought in games 1 and games 2, the Pacers allowed SGA to get downhill. They allowed SGA to get downhill, and they weren't meeting him at the point of attack off the pick and roll. You can't allow SGA to get downhill. That's how he gets to his spots. That's how he gets to his mid-range jumper. And you start fouling, and he's at the free throw line shooting 11, 12 free throws a game. I thought the Pacers did a much better job in game 3 compared to what they did in games 1 and games 2 by meeting SGA at the point of attack and making it difficult on SGA. Now, SGA is still going to get his points. He finished with 24 points on 9 of 20 from the floor. But I thought the Pacers did a much better job defensively against SGA in game 3 compared to what they did in games 1 and games 2. So that's another key element to why the Pacers beat the Thunder in game 3. So we got to give some credit to that Pacers defense as well. They played some great defense. The Pacers had 11 blocks. They had 11 blocks for the game. So they play some great defense. And we already know how elite they are offensively. That's the thing about the Pacers. Last year, when they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, they were a great offensive team. That was it. They just scored a lot of points, but they didn't really get much stops. They didn't really get many stops at all. But now the Pacers are playing some great defense along with their great offense, and they are 2 wins away from an NBA championship. But, man, game 4 is going to be interesting. I believe the winner of game 4 will win the NBA Finals. If the Pacers beat the Thunder in game 4 and go up 3-1, this series is over. If the Thunder win game 4, that means you have games 5 and game 7 back in OKC. And I believe we will be heading for a 7-game series. So if the Thunder win tonight, we are headed for a 7-game series in the NBA Finals. And that would be advantage Thunder because they would have game 7 on their home floor and would have home court advantage. So it's going to be interesting tonight. Game 4, I believe the line, they got the Thunder favored by 6.5 points at the moment. But, man, the Pacers really, really, really showed me something in game 3. They did. I knew the Pacers were good, but coming into this series, I didn't think they were on the Thunder's level. But the more I continue to watch these games, especially after watching game 3, the Pacers have a deep bench similar to the Thunder. The Pacers have an advantage from a coaching standpoint. Rick Carlisle is a more proven head coach than Mark Daigneault. The only advantage that the Thunder have significantly over the Pacers is SGA is the best player on the floor. That I will give the Thunder. SGA is the best player on the floor. But I believe the Pacers, they go 8-9 deep, just like the Thunder go 8-9 deep. The Pacers also are better in clutch moments than the Thunder are. They're better in clutch moments. For whatever reason, the Indiana Pacers, in clutch moments, they deliver. Specifically, Tyrese Haliburton. Tyrese Haliburton is a closer. He is a closer. He may not be a superstar yet, but he is a closer. Speaks to why he's had a game-winning shot or a game-tying shot in regulation in all 4 rounds of the NBA playoffs for the Indiana Pacers. So it's going to be interesting tonight. It's going to be interesting to see which team's bench plays better, because I believe that's going to be the biggest difference in the game. And whichever team's bench performs well will win the game. And again, in game 3, the Thunder outplayed the Pacers in quarters 1 and 3. The Pacers outplayed the Thunder in quarters 2 and 4. In the second and fourth quarter, the Pacers outscored the Thunder 72-46. That's your ball game. 72-46 in the second and fourth quarter. That's your ball game. So we're going to see how game 4 goes tonight in Indy. If you live in Cincinnati, if you live in Cleveland, Dayton, Columbus, you might want to roll up to Indianapolis tonight in that town. It's going to be a great time tonight up there in Indianapolis. They're going to be rocking and rolling tonight in that town for sure. And if the Pacers go up 3-1, this NBA Finals is over. And honestly, this will be one of the biggest upsets in NBA history, in the NBA Finals. This will be one of the biggest upsets. The only thing I could think of that's closest to this NBA Finals that will be an upset, I would probably say, obviously, the Mavericks beating the Heat in the 2011 NBA Finals with Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Terry, and Jason Kidd. Rick Carlisle also was the head coach of that team. Also, maybe the Pistons when they beat the Lakers, Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, the Wallace brothers, when they beat Kobe and Shaq. That was a huge upset in the NBA Finals. But this would be one of the biggest upsets in NBA history in the NBA Finals if the Pacers can somehow win this series. But the more I keep watching these games, the more I keep thinking to myself, Thunder may not be significantly better than the Pacers like I originally thought. I originally thought the Thunder were significantly better than the Pacers. I was wrong. I was wrong. Clearly, the Pacers are at least on the same level, if not better than the Thunder are. I mean, the way they are playing, and let's be honest, the Pacers have the second best record in the NBA since January 1st. The Indiana Pacers have the second best record behind OKC since January 1st. So the Indiana Pacers have been doing this consistently all year long since the start of the calendar year. Now, they started off the year slow. I believe the Pacers started off the season like 10-15 or something. They had a losing record at the beginning of the season. But they have definitely turned it around. But those are my thoughts on the NBA Finals. Bench production will be huge in Game 4. Benedict Mathurin is turning into a star right before our very eyes. And Tyrese Haliburton came out the gate in Game 3 and was more aggressive in Game 3 than he has been all series long. And I believe in order for the Pacers to pull off the upset and actually beat the Thunder, Haliburton has to be aggressive from a scoring standpoint. He has to be aggressive from a scoring standpoint. He can't just be this past first point guard and not score. You got to score in the NBA Finals if you want to beat teams like OKC. But big shout out to Miles Turner, like I said earlier. He played some tremendous defense on Chet Holmgren, and we got ourselves a series. Everybody go follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And don't forget, each and every Monday, it's the We Not Boxed In podcast with myself, Cincinnati Bearcats legend, Melvin Levitt, and Dante Payne with On Impact Recruiting Services behind the scenes. So Wise Guys Sports, yours truly, Trey Larkins, will be at Park Place each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., the We Not Boxed In podcast. See y'all Monday at Park Place. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend.